A long time ago, in the deserts of Arabia, a man lived a quiet life, known not for power, but for truth. He was called Al-Amin, the trustworthy, a man who never lied, never betrayed. But deep inside him, there was a question, a search for something greater than the world around him. And one night, in a silent cave, everything changed forever. And then, that day finally came. A day that would not just change his life, but the destiny of the entire world. The cave, Hira, was as silent as ever. The air, still. The night, deep and endless. He was alone, just like always. Or at least, that's what he thought. Because sometimes, the moment that changes everything doesn't announce itself. It simply arrives, without warning, without explanation. And in that silence, something happened. A presence, not seen, but felt. Heavy, powerful, overwhelming. It filled the space around him, like the air itself had changed. And then, a voice. Not from outside, but from everywhere. Read. The command was clear, direct, unmistakable. But he froze, because he did not understand. Never written. And so, he replied, "I cannot read." But the presence did not leave. Instead, it came closer, stronger. And suddenly, he felt it. A force holding him, pressing him. Not to harm, but to awaken. Again, the command came. Read. His heart raced. His breath became heavy. Fear, confusion, and something beyond both. I cannot read. And once again, he was held, pressed, until it felt like the world itself had stopped. Then, released. For the third time, the command came. Read in the name of your Lord who created. And this time, something changed. The words flowed, not from memory, not from learning, but from somewhere deeper, as if they were placed within him. Created man from a clot, read, and your Lord is the most generous. The moment was beyond explanation, beyond understanding. It was not just words, it was revelation, the beginning of something divine. And just like that, it stopped. The presence was gone. The cave returned to silence, but nothing was the same. His heart was pounding, his body trembling, his mind overwhelmed. What had just happened? Was it real? Was it a vision? A dream? No, it was something else, something far greater. And fear took over. Because when the unknown becomes real, it shakes everything you believe. He rushed down the mountain, the same path he had walked so many times before. But now, every step felt different. Faster, urgent, unsteady. He reached home. Khadijah. The one place he felt safe. The one person who understood him. He entered, shaking. "Cover me, cover me." His voice, not calm, not steady, but filled with something new, something unfamiliar. Fear. She did not question. She did not hesitate. She wrapped him, held him, let him breathe, let him calm down. And when the silence returned, he spoke. He told her everything, every detail, every word, every feeling. The cave, the voice, the command, the fear. And when he finished, there was a pause, a moment that could have gone in any direction. Doubt, confusion, fear. But instead, something else happened. She believed him, without question. Because she knew him, his truth, his honesty, his character. And she said Allah would never disgrace you. Because you help the poor, you speak the truth, you stand for justice, you care for others. These are not the qualities of someone lost. These are the qualities of someone chosen. And in that moment, his fear met certainty. But the journey was just beginning. Because now, the question was not, what happened, but, what does it mean? And so, they went to someone who knew, someone who understood the scriptures. A man named Waraka, old, wise, a seeker of truth. He listened carefully, every word, every detail. And when the story ended, his expression changed, because he recognized it. This was the same revelation that had come before, to prophets of the past. And he said, "This is the angel, the same one sent to Moses." And then he said something else, something heavy, something real. "Your people will oppose you. They will reject you. They will drive you out. Because truth is never easy for those who live in falsehood." And hearing that must have been overwhelming. Because this was not just a message, it was a mission. A path filled with struggle, sacrifice, resistance, but also purpose. And from that moment on, nothing would ever be ordinary again. Because the man who once walked quietly among people was now carrying something far greater. A message, a responsibility, a truth meant for the entire world. But even the strongest journeys do not begin with certainty. They begin with silence. Revelation. There was a pause. There was a pause. No new message, no new command, just silence. Days passed, then weeks. And that silence felt heavy. Because when you have experienced something divine, and then it stops, you begin to question. Was it real? Was it over? Did it leave? And in that silence, the weight of the moment grew. But what he didn't know was, this silence was preparation. Because what was coming next would require strength beyond anything he had ever known. And then, once again, the voice returned. "O you who are wrapped up, arise and warn." And just like that, the mission began. No longer private, no longer hidden. Now, it was time. Time to speak. Time to stand. Time to deliver a message that would shake the very foundation of society. First people to hear it were the closest ones. Because every great movement begins small. With belief, with trust, with those who truly know you. Khadijah, the first to believe, without doubt, without hesitation. Then others, quietly, carefully, a small group forming in the shadows, not for power, not for recognition, but for truth. Because what they believed in was not easy, it was dangerous, and soon the world around them would begin to react. It happened on a night that felt no different from the others. The cave was silent, the air was still, and he was alone. Just like many nights before, he sat there in deep thought. Not searching for power, not searching for fame, but searching for truth. Because something inside him had been restless for a long time. A question that had no answer. A feeling that something was missing from the world. And then, everything changed. At first, it was not a sound, not a voice, but a presence. Something that could not be seen, yet could not be ignored. The air shifted. The silence became heavier. And then, a command. Read. The word was clear, powerful, unavoidable. He froze. His heart began to race. "I cannot read," he replied. His voice, uncertain, because he had never learned to read. But the command came again, stronger this time. Read. The space around him felt tighter, like something unseen was closing in. "I cannot read," he said again. And then, it happened. A force wrapped around him, tight, overwhelming, not to harm, but to awaken, then released. "Read." This time, the words began to flow, not from memory, not from learning, but from somewhere beyond. Read, in the name of your Lord who created. The cave was no longer just a cave. It had become something else. A moment that would change the course of history forever. When it ended, the silence returned, but it was not the same silence. He stood there, breathing heavily, his heart pounding, his mind unable to understand what had just happened. Fear, not the fear of danger, but the fear of something greater than human understanding. He rushed out of the cave. The night air hit his face, cold, sharp, real, but nothing felt normal anymore, because inside him, everything had changed. He looked at the sky, and for a moment, he saw it again. The presence, clearer now, more real, filling the horizon, and the message was undeniable. This was not imagination. This was not a dream. This was something divine. He ran, down the mountain, through the darkness, every step faster than the last, until he reached home, his hands trembling, his breath uneven. "Cover me," he said, his voice shaking. Khadijah looked at him. Concern filled her eyes immediately. She had never seen him like this before. She wrapped him in a blanket, sat beside him, waiting, listening, because she knew something serious had happened. After a few moments, he spoke, slowly, carefully. He told her everything. The cave, the voice, the command, the presence, every detail, every feeling, every moment. And when he finished, there was silence. But not confusion, not fear. Something else. Understanding. She looked at him, calm, steady, and said something that would change everything. God would never disgrace you. Her voice was firm, certain, because she knew him better than anyone. You help the poor. You speak the truth. You stand for what is right. This is not something to fear. Those words brought calm, not complete understanding, but peace. Because sometimes, when everything feels uncertain, all you need is one person who believes in you. But the journey was just beginning, because what had happened was not just a moment, it was a mission. In the days that followed, he could not forget it. The voice, the words, the feeling, everything remained clear. And then, it happened again. The presence returned. Not as fear this time, but as purpose. More words, more guidance, more truth. Slowly, the message became clearer. There is only one God, one truth, one path, and he was chosen to deliver it. At first, he did not announce it publicly, because not every truth is meant to be revealed all at once. He started small, quietly, with those closest to him. The first to believe was Khadijah, without hesitation, without doubt. Then came Ali, young but strong in heart. Then Abu Bakr, a man respected among people. And slowly, one by one, a small group formed. Not large, not powerful, but strong in belief. They gathered quietly, learning, understanding, growing. Because what they had was not just faith, it was conviction. But outside, the world remained the same. Mecca, a city full of tradition, of power, of idols, of beliefs that had existed for generations. And a message like this would not be accepted easily. At first, people ignored it, then they questioned it, then they resisted it. Why him? Why this message? Why now? Doubt grew, and slowly, opposition began. Because truth, when it challenges comfort, is rarely accepted peacefully. But he did not stop. He did not change the message. He did not soften it. Because this was not his message. It was entrusted to him. And so, he continued, calm, steady, certain, even when the world around him began to turn against him. Insults came first, then rejection, then pressure. Because the leaders of Mecca began to see the danger, not physical danger, but something deeper, a message that could change everything. But he stood firm, because once truth is known, It cannot be ignored. And that was just the beginning. Because what started in a silent cave would soon shake an entire world. What happens when truth is no longer hidden? When the message becomes public and opposition turns into conflict? Because the next phase was not about revelation, it was about resistance. And the moment, everything would be tested.